If you've got cell phones, would you please turn them on vibrate or turn them off, please, so we don't interrupt tonight's board meeting? Let the record reflect that we're going to be starting tonight's board meeting at 7:31 p.m. So I'm going to be calling tonight's meeting to order at 7:31. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Abraham? Here. Trustee Bennett? Present. Trustee Hodges is absent. President Jones?
Here.
Trustee McGreer? Here. Trustee Morris?
Here.
Trustee Brown-Reno? Here. May we all stand for the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a moment of silence, please? Thank you. You have sworn in a police officer.
Who's Chief? Commission?
We have two officers that we're going to be swearing in. Take officer number 1, Mark Torres. This was done after there was the Fire and Police Commission put an announcement out. There were several tests that were taken, whether it was oral and for medical, etc. And this individual was selected after as one of the qualified candidates based on the recommendation from the Fire and Police Commission. So we stand right here. Use your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Mark C. Torres.
I, Mark C. Torres.
Having been appointed to the position of police officer.
Having been appointed to the position of police officer.
In the village of Broadview.
In the village of Broadview.
In the county of Cook.
In the county of Cook.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
And the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
And that I will faithfully. Discharge my duties.
Discharge my duties.
In the village of Broadview.
In the village of Broadview.
According to the best of my ability.
According to the best of my ability.
Subscribe and sworn to me before the 15th day of October, AD 2012.
Subscribe to me
before this day, 15th day of October, AD 2012. Congratulations, Officer Torres.
Congratulations, Officer Torres.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Next officer is Michael D. Bolova.
Thank you very much, sir.
Raise your right hand. I, Michael D. Bolova.
I, Michael D. Bolova.
Have been appointed to the position of police officer.
Have been appointed to the position of police officer.
In the village of Broadview.
In the village of Broadview.
In the county of Cook.
In the county of Cook.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution.
That I will support the Constitution.
Of the United States.
Of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
And the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
And that I will faithfully discharge.
And that I will faithfully discharge.
My duties in the village of Broadview.
My duties in the village of Broadview.
According to the best of my ability.
According to the best of my ability.
Subscribe and sworn.
Subscribe and sworn.
To before me this 15th day of October.
Before me this 15th day of October.
AD 2012.
AD 2012.
Congratulations. And just to say, these officers are here with their lovely wife, Melissa and Natasha. Congratulations. You're reporting for duty at 0900 tomorrow morning. Thank you. You're still here.
Our next, we have a award ceremony. So noted. Trustee Hodges, present.
All right, we had an award ceremony a month ago in the Park District where it was a public safety award ceremony, and we didn't have all the information we required or needed to give this unit citation, so we thought it would be a good idea to give it in front of the village. So on March 24, 2012, the body of a 38-year Broadview man was found in the 1200 block of Roosevelt Road. The cause of death was determined to be from blunt force trauma and was ruled a homicide by the medical examiner. Detectives were immediately assigned to investigate this murder. During the course of the investigation, 24 people were identified as witnesses or persons with knowledge of the crime, victim, or subsequent person of interest. These people were found and interviewed. A suspect was identified and detectives attempted to locate him. It was learned that the subject fled the state. Broadview detectives had successfully tracked the suspect to Minnesota using technology. The U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force was contacted in order to assist in the apprehension. The suspect was taken into custody in Minneapolis on April 10, 2012. So as you can see, March 24, April 10th. Broadview detectives interviewed the suspect and obtained a confession. The Cook County State's Attorney's Office has approved a charge of first-degree murder. The suspect is currently in the Cook County Jail awaiting trial. So at this time, I would like to thank Lieutenant Kevin Hughley for supervising this investigation leading to the arrest. Congratulations. I'd like to commend Detective David Yerkovich for his professional work and long hours as a lead case detective. And the third one is Detective Mike Aiken, and Sergeant Tom Costa for the assistance with the overall investigation. Tom, and this is just a small portion of our detective bureau. So we had a murder and we put everyone on this case, and it was very successful. We worked with other agencies, whether it was at the federal level, the state level, and also local. And I just want to say that was my first murder here in Broadview, and I don't know if it's going to be our last murder, but you did an awesome job. Thank you.
Item number 2, public comment.
Marquita Smith.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Just one request. Is there any reason that the reports that are given by the various department heads, you're not putting them on record? When I was a trustee, we used to vote the reports and have them placed on file, so if someone wants to FOIA request, we can have a FOIA. And for item under new business, item A, is there any reason why this particular ordinance or this particular item is so vague? I mean, how are we to ask specific questions if we don't know what we're asking questions on? So if you could elaborate on that issue, and if it's something that we may still have questions for, can we ask those questions at the next meeting, since you hold all your answers at the end of the meeting? That's it.
Certainly. Thank you, Ms. Smith. Mr. Robert Jones, BJ.
Good evening, everyone.
How you doing, BJ?
Y'all know me as BJ Jones. I'm the community liaison for the village of Broadview and also trustee for the library. And I just here tonight to announce that we're having a night of jazz every Thursday night at the library. And it'll start with this Thursday, October 25th at 7 p.m. and occurring every last Thursday of the month. This month we'll be featuring the music of Miles Davis. Hope you and neighbors can come out and enjoy the night of jazz. It's all free.
Is this a live presentation?
No, it's not, but not with Miles.
I just want to make sure.
Comes from my extensive collection in jazz.
Just from your collection, okay. Just so we know that there's not going to be people with instruments or whatever. Not necessarily Miles. Ms. Gwen Turner.
Hi, I'm Gwen Turner. I live in 8 acres, and I just want to know what is the update on the cul-de-sac?
We'll talk about that. Thank you, Ms. Turner. Cul-de-sacs. Mr. Arnold, Wayne Arnold. How you doing, sir?
Hello, everyone. Hello. All trustees.
Welcome.
My friend, Mr. Jones. I am here speaking on behalf of my wife tonight, not in capacity as the president of Broadview. My wife, who is the finance chair of the trustee board for the library, wanted me to make an announcement to the citizens regarding an issue that's going to be on the ballot on November the 6th, which is a library bond referendum. We're asking that you support this. My wife, who is comptroller of a $150 million company, has done, along with the board, extensive research in this area and found that an improvement to the facility will be done to the library here with improvements for structure and repairs. And we're asking for the support in that regard. And for those who want to know, the numbers have come in and said that it would only add less than $5 a month to your property tax bill for this referendum to pass. So we're asking that you pay attention to the mailings and things that are being posted regarding the library. We're going to make the library one of the state-of-the-art libraries in this area with access to senior citizens, a youth and teen area, and various other state-of-the-art amenities we add to the library should the referendum pass. And we know that we can afford it if we do it in this matter. On behalf of my wife, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Wayne. That concludes the public comments portion, Madam Clerk.
We have one more.
That's all I got.
Community nurse healthcare.
Community nurse healthcare, who's that? Are they here?
Community nurse healthcare, Westchester.
I don't see them. I don't see the people who were here last time. Yeah.
Item number 3, consideration to approve the following minutes of September 7th, 2012, regular business meeting minutes, and October 1st, 2012, regular business meeting.
Does everyone have the minutes?
Yep.
Has everyone seen the minutes?
I've seen them and I've emailed on them. I have.
I'll make a motion to table the minutes of September 17th.
Okay, it's been motioned by Trustee Marino and second by Trustee Morris to table the minutes of the 17th. Hearing no opposition, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes for September 17th will be tabled until the next board meeting. I have a motion for the minutes for October 1st.
Okay, I'll make a motion to table those as well, since it seems like no one has really reviewed them. We'll table.
I've reviewed them.
You gonna make a motion?
That's all right.
Okay, is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Okay, it's been properly motioned by Trustee Harvard, properly seconded by Trustee Abraham to table the minutes of October 1st also. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes are going to be tabled until the next board meeting.
Item number 4, consideration to approve expenditures, grand total of all funds, $269,736.44.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Properly motioned by Trustee Morris and properly seconded by Trustee McGreer to approve these expenditures. May I have a report from the Finance Department?
That would be
No, it's
Abraham.
Abraham.
Abraham, what?
I said it.
Not a problem, you can handle it. Carry on.
We have Avalon Petroleum Company, $27,075. DNF Technical Code, $9,998.43. Bank of Mellon Trust, $50,000. Broadview Fire Pension, $21,944.70. Broadview Police Pension, $3,726.74. ComEd, $5,582.76. Geno's Plumbing, $34,625. Group Industry, $46,990.24. Illinois Municipal League Risk Management, $10,757.97. Tasca Associates, $6,474.10. Tom Gardner, $8,500. TNT Towing, $3,550. And West Cook County Solid Waste, $7,701.79, which is a grand total of $236,926.73, which is 88% of the total.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Questions or comments from the board, starting at Trustee Marino?
No.
Trustee Morris?
No.
Trustee McGreer? No. Trustee Hargreaves?
No.
Trustee Benson?
No.
Trustee Abraham?
None.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Benson?
Yes.
Trustee Hargreaves?
Yes.
Trustee McGriff?
Yes.
Trustee Morris?
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino?
Yes.
And the motion carries, so the bills will be paid.
Item number 5, report from the Fiscal Officer, Commissioner David Upshaw, Building Department.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The report for the month of September 2012 from the building department is as follows. We had 60 permits that were issued. There were a total of 23 Title 13 inspections done. Those inspections deal with the sale and purchase of property in the village of Broadview, whether it be residential, commercial, or industrial. We had 23 contractor registrations. We had 5 vacant property registrations. We had 18 complaints. Those complaints dealt with grass, landlord-tenant complaints, as well as we had foreclosure complaints. I wanted to take a few minutes just to provide everyone with some information. This evening, Lisa Bennett Thompson could not be here. She's with the Attorney General's office. She was coming today to provide us with some foreclosure information, and actually I'm going to meet with her tomorrow afternoon. But she is going to give me some information that I can later disseminate to you all, as well as I'll speak to the committee chairs to actually have a presentation regarding foreclosure prevention and the resources that are out there that are available. The Illinois Attorney General, Lisa Madigan, U.S. Department of Justice, and Wells Fargo announced a City Lift program. The program offers a grant of $15,000 in down payment assistance for qualified buyers. They have approximately 30-plus communities. The grant is forgiven after 5 years of ownership and is for owner-occupied purchases only. The buyer need not be a first-time homeowner, and they cannot own another property at closing. There is a pre-qualification that is required. Also, there is an 8-hour pre-purchase financial counseling class. And this comes from, again, the Attorney General office, and this is part of the settlement that took place regarding the banks early in July. Also, she provided me with some information in our summer bulletin. I put together a lot of financial, or a lot of foreclosure information about the different programs that were out there that were available. She has provided me with some more detailed information similar to those programs. I contacted them in just a request to get a better understanding regarding the foreclosure programs out there, i.e. the HART program, the hardest hit program, because in the building department every day we see people who are losing their homes who come to us either because they lost their job, there's some unforeseen circumstances. And what we're finding out, the trend now is in the last 2 weeks, I've actually had people who have come who have given their homes back to the banks. The banks are buying homes and then providing them with a check. So that was kind of interesting, and I called just to get some information on it. But for those people who are unemployed, they should be, and again, you can see me at the building department, and I'll be glad to provide you with a lot of this information, this additional information that I found out. The Illinois Hardest Hit Program. This was a program that was out there that I talked about in the bulletin, but it gives a definition for what these types of programs are. The Illinois Hardest Hit Program is for the unemployed or the underemployed, and they can provide you up to 1.5 years of paying your mortgage. So that's just the FYI. That was information that I did not know and I was unaware of. They have the Independent Foreclosure Review. It's a federal program that offers relief to homeowners that have lost their home between January 1st of 2009 and December 1st of 2010. They have we know about the HART program. We also have the Illinois Aid Online program. That's a program that if you get online, you can fill out your information dealing with your particular situation, and they will have a counselor call you and see how they can help you with a program that suits you. If you have any questions, again, you can contact me in the building department. Also, there is the Attorney General has a homeowners help hotline. That's 1-866-544-7151. That's 1-866-544-7151. As of, I would say, maybe a couple weeks ago, there were 201 foreclosures in the village of Broadview. And that, as we say that, when you look at 100%, 48 of those properties are actually in the foreclosure process. They're somewhere, either the beginning, middle, or end, but they're in the foreclosure process or have been foreclosed on. 22% of those properties are being auctioned off, and 30% are bank-owned. And I just thought that'd be some good information to provide you with as we live in Broadview, and it's good to know what's going on in terms of foreclosures and our home situation. Another item that I have is the Proviso Light Township Council for Community Action. They have a cedar weatherization program. The purpose is Illinois Home Weatherization Assistance Program. Primary purpose is to help low-income residents of Cook County save energy and money while increasing the comfort in their homes. You can apply at CEDA, which is at PLCCA, which is located in Maywood, 411 West Madison Street in Maywood, where Bishop Porter is president and CEO. Applications are being processed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. On Thursday, 8 a.m. to 2:30. And Mr. Mayor, Board, that concludes my report at this time.
Thank you, Commissioner Upshaw. Questions or comments for the Commissioner? Trustee Marina? No. Morris? No. Trustee McGrill? No. Trustee Harger?
No.
Trustee Benson?
No.
Trustee Abraham?
None.
Thank you, Mr. Upshaw. Madam Clerk?
Our next budget officer, Finance Director, Jan Baptist, Finance Department.
Good evening, Mayor Jones,
Good evening.
Board of Trustees,
And community members, finances as it relates to the general fund for the month of September. We actually, in the month of September, collecting $711,000 in revenues and expending $791,000 in expenses. That ends the month with a net deficit of $8,000. However, on a year-to-date basis, we're still running ahead of the game with a surplus. It should be 316,000 people. September's primary revenue sources, we collected $111,000 in property taxes, $256,000 in sales taxes, $118,000 in utility taxes, $52,000 in state income taxes, and $11,000 in state use taxes. The other significant collections, we had 2,000 in vehicle license renewals, 40,000 collected in the building department and permanent and inspection activities, 51,000 collected by the police department in fines and towing, and I should put an asterisk because that also includes 15,000, which is not technically fines and towing, it's a grant, but it came from the police department. And 59,000 in fire department ambulance and hospital building fees. Lastly, September included 8,000 in insurance, business, and workers' comp reimbursements. When you look at the expenses, labor and benefits, as usual, typically make up most of our expenditures, represent 74% of our total monthly spending. However, if you look, the next big category is contractual services, and that was $160,000, of which $47,000 was in legal and professional service invoices. $38,000 is our monthly liability insurance expense. $32,000 was our annual audit expenditures. We had $16,000 in various repair and maintenance expenses, and $7,000 in fire and police commission testing and administrative fees, which you saw some of the results tonight. On a year-to-date basis, September being 5 months in, or 42% of the year completed, revenues are running ahead of budget, while expenses are trending below. As we look at our revenues, they're representing, year-to-date we're at 45%. If you look at the taxes are right on at 43%. Also, actually all of our taxes are. Our local revenues are also trending in line with budget. The reason why we're running slightly ahead is because of unbudgeted collections. We had a settlement litigation of $65,000 that sort of contributes to our favorable total in the revenues. If you look at our expenditures, all of the departments are running at or below budget, with the exception, and this is just an ongoing exception, Department 25, the cost of the parking lot repavement wasn't in the budget, and then Department 73, Streets Department, purchased their winter supplies early that just skew on the year-to-date numbers. Other things to talk about, the annual audit. Our fiscal year ended April 30th, 2012, and our auditors completed their field work. In August 2012, I am currently waiting for the draft. By law, we're supposed to issue our audit report within 180 days of the fiscal year end, which is October 31st. So the auditors have assured me that we'll have drafts and I will issue to the trustees prior to that time, and I've tentatively scheduled them for the November 5th meeting to actually present the report. But upon receiving the finals, I will post them to the Cook County website, which for those who want, you all know, and I'll put them in next month's report, the website number. But if you go out to Cook County and look under the local agencies, if you look for the Village of Broadview, don't look under V, look under V for Village of Broadview. I don't know why. But you'll find that there's 2 years already out there, and once the final report is out, I'll upload and you can have access to the 2012 final. I would tell you to start looking October 31st, and I'll try to get them out before the deadline as long as I get them in time. The other thing to look for is also that time to actually publish in the newspaper our annual treasurer's report, which lists all of our expenditures and our payments to vendors and employees. That also is supposed to be posted before October 31st. I am currently scheduling to put that in on October 31st, which is a Wednesday. So by your local paper, that's what's the name of it? Suburban Life. Sorry. So look at Wednesday, October 31st, or at latest that following Wednesday, the 7th. If for some reason the mayor doesn't give me permission to put it out before it's officially approved by the board. Lastly, it's starting to get a busy time around here for finance. It's time for annual rollover bond. Board members, on tonight's agenda is engagements for your consideration to utilize both the same bond underwriter, GK Bond, and also the same bond counsel as we used last year, which is Mr. Davidson. Both of the, what am I trying to say? Agreements are pretty much in line with last year. The underwriter is still at the 1%, and I'll let the mayor talk about the other caveat. And the council is the bond council is at the same rate. So it's needed that you all, if possible, if you all can issue an opinion and or approve on that, so that once the fair is in place, because this being our last meeting, it'll be November before we meet again. We'd like to actually try to put everything in place, including the posting of the paper, such that we can have a binding hearing in conjunction with one of the November meetings, so that we won't have to have a special board meeting. This is the same issue for every year, and you'll hear more from me via email. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Baptist. Questions or comments from the board? Trustee Marino?
None.
Trustee Morris? McGreer?
None.
Trustee Harvey?
No.
Trustee Benson?
None.
Trustee Abraham?
No.
Have a good evening, Ms. Baptist. Madam Clerk?
Our next village officer, Carter Hunter.
Deputy Chief. Mr. Kowalski.
Chief Gardner is at the Illinois Fire Chiefs Convention in Peoria, and also our new ambulances that are on display as well.
Oh, wonderful.
The emergency responses for the last month was 183 emergency calls, which included 2 box alarm fires. For the contracts, we responded to Loyola 1 time for fire, 16 for ambulance, total of 17 for the month, 236 for the year. Hines VA, we did not respond for no fire alarms. Ambulance, 16 for the month, 120 for the year. JJ Mann Mental Health, we responded just for the ambulance 3 times, and that was a total of 30 for the year. The Fire Prevention Bureau, Inspector Carson did 128 inspections. No home inspections performed, 23 violations cited, 3 special inspections performed. Under the training division, the past month we completed 194 hours of training on various fire and EMS subjects. We currently have a paramedic student from Loyola doing his internship with our department. 5 Alarm conducted the annual inspection on our Hearst hydraulic equipment. That's our Hearst tool. NIPSTA used our training tower for live fire training and evolutions. Our shift personnel attended the Patriot Day at Lindop School. We hosted the technical rescue team training. Firefighter Monks is one of the members and he attended. Personnel attended the celebration of heroes hosted by North Riverside Fire Department. That was the 9/11 ceremony. Chief Gardner attended the 9/11 ceremony at Stone Park and also North Riverside. EMS personnel received their monthly scheduled training instructed by Loyola University Medical Center. Shift personnel, they completed driver's training with the new ambulance that was purchased. The shift personnel conducted their EMS self-study on various subjects. Firefighter Nakaza and firefighter Merzik attended the EEPP training class at Loyola University Medical Center. North Riverside firefighter Russell Perez, he issued all our personnel a written test for CPR certification to make them instructor trainers. Shift personnel completed the driver's training with engine 216. Firefighter Kenny attended the 40-hour tactics and strategy class hosted at NIPSTA. This class was free. This was through a grant through the Illinois Fire Chiefs. Shift personnel performed aerial operations with our aerial ladder 214. Firefighter Monks instructed a CPR class for the Broadview residents. Chief Gardner attended the monthly meeting of the village board. He attended the Metro Chiefs meeting. He met with ADT regarding the alarm system for the village. He met with the heat engineering regarding the HVAC system. Attended the monthly Division 20 meeting. Attended the training for drug disbursement. Attended the ribbon cutting at Pioneer Park. Met with Norcom in reference to the wireless fire alarm system. Attended a chat with chiefs at the library. Attended a meeting at the blood drive with Life Source. And attended the senior meeting at Schroeder Park. In reference to billing, we collected $12,476.84 from PBS. Net collection, $12,914.84, and we don't owe them anything due to the direct deposit. We billed out $10,500 for Loyola, $8,470 for Heinz, and $2,250 for Madden. Total of $21,220 for the month of August. We received $32,646.66 in collections from the services to Loyola, Heinz, Madden. And then we received 16 service cards for the service we rendered to the residents. The open house went over well. The blood drive, I believe, was 28 units of blood they received. And everything, the turnout was pretty good. That's all I have for the report.
Thank you, Deputy Chief Kowalski. Questions or comments from the board, starting with Trustee Marino?
I have none.
Trustee Morris? Trustee McGreer? None. Trustee Harger?
No.
Trustee Benson?
None.
Trustee Abraham? Have a good evening, Mr. Kowalski.
Next village officer, Police Department, Chief Jagger.
First of all, I apologize I'm not in uniform for the ceremony, and I was already asked why. I had training this morning, so that's my excuse. Community Police Relations. Broadview Police Department is currently working with Nixil, a company that provides quick, real-time text messages and email to village residents. This tool will allow public safety to effectively collaborate with residents for everything from community outreach to public relations to emergency management. This will not be used for any type of robocall. So basically, it's a robocall using a smartphone. Nixil is a company that provides this service free for public safety agencies. We're going to start utilizing this in our Community Policing Bureau, and this is an excellent tool for our Neighborhood Watch program. Number 2, crime mapping. Crime mapping is on. So if you go on crimemapping.com, hit Broadview, it's going to give you real time for crimes in Broadview. Again, this is another great tool, not only for the residents to see what's happening in Broadview, but also for our Neighborhood Watch program. This is one of the initiatives that the mayor directed me to look at to show transparency. We're not afraid to show the public what's happening in Broadview, where the crime is down, crime is up, but what are we doing as a police department to respond to, and hopefully to impact or reduce crime? And I think we've done an excellent job of that. Political robocalls. At our last meeting that I was here, I made a comment about robocalls, and I've had several people come in to complain, and we've made a matter of records report. So I just want to let you know that Illinois has made political robocalls exempt from any type of violation of telemarketing laws. However, the police department will continue to document as a matter of record any complaints. If we require additional information, please contact the Illinois Attorney General's office. So those that are complaining, nothing I can do, I will just document and we'll move forward. Retirement. It is with mixed emotions that I announce the retirement of Deputy Chief Jim Cossack, effective October 31st, 2012. Jim has accepted a job with the State of Illinois Office of the Executive Inspector General. Please join me in congratulating Deputy Chief Cossack on his new assignment. As it relates to our activity, we had 382 administrative citations, 116 traffic citations for a total of 498 citations. We had 4 felony or misdemeanor arrests, 18 village ordinance violation, and 22 was a total arrest. We came in with $29,000. 15 of it was from the Guard Up donation to the police department for hopefully another vehicle. And we had 2,222 calls compared to 1,668 calls in August. And those that come here every month see that there's an increase in our calls for services, but yet we have not increased our staffing until today. And I want to thank publicly the board for their support. One officer was to replace an officer that sergeant that was retired, and the second was for an increase in headcount. So I thank you. I know that the village thanks you, and that's going to help us tremendously with our endeavors. I mentioned Crime Watch. This is what I do every month now on our accountability session that I have with my command staff. So every month I sit down with them and we go with the Crime Watch. And Crime Watch, what it tells me is up or down where the crime is happening, what's happening in town. And then I ask them, what are they doing about it and how are we going to reduce crime? So what we have done, we've identified what is called directed patrol. Directed patrol is at the beginning of the watch commander identifies what he believes are problems, and then he will direct them to do A, B, and C. We have done 75 various directed patrols during the month of September, and we've done 4 community outreach. We've done 12 walk and talks. We had 0 homicides, 0 criminal sexual assault, 3 robberies, 0 aggravated assault. We had 2 burglaries from 8, 9, so our burglaries went down. That could be a combination of a few things. Our directed patrol, kids are back in school, it's getting colder. So I want to say that it's a combination of all. Thefts are 31 thefts. Half of the thefts are from the mall. So whether it's Target, whether it's Home Depot, so we're monitoring the other half. Vehicle theft 3, arson 0. So we are monitoring and we are deploying our officers strategically where we need to deploy them. And then lastly, I do want you to, whenever you have time, go on crime mapping. This is something that technology is in our favor. I just came back from San Diego at a Chiefs conference, and this is what all the police departments in the nation are doing. It's all about technology and showing where the crimes are and responding to the crime. This is what the city of Chicago is doing now with Superintendent McCarthy. So we're right there with them. And that concludes.
Thank you, Chief Tager. Questions from the board, starting with Trustee Marino.
Yes, I do have a question. Nixle, the new company that we're using for robocalls and text messages, is that just the police department, or is this replacing Connect CGY?
No, this is just the police department. Nixle,
Okay.
it's just for the police department.
Is there anything about Nixle that would make it inappropriate to use it instead of Connect CGY?
Because it's free. There's anything appropriate from using one to the other. Where the other ones, Public Works could use it, and Building Department could use it. And this one, it's only for fire and police. Nixle will only be for fire and police.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Morse?
No.
Trustee McGreer?
None.
Trustee Harvey?
No.
Trustee Benson?
No.
And Trustee Abraham?
Yes, I do have one comment. I want to thank Chief Clegaro and Chief Gardner for coming to talk to the seniors. If you want to elaborate a little bit on that, it was a very welcomed day for them.
That was part of our chat, and the Deputy Chief made the announcement. That was part of our chat with the chiefs. We went out to Schroeder Park, and Chief Gardner and I met with the seniors, and it was a wonderful time. We talked about ourselves, and we talked about our vision with the police department, and provided them with a good Q&A. But again, it was a great time, and that's part of our community outreach, is chat with the chiefs and going out to various locations in the village and talking to our residents. I do want to mention one thing. You asked me earlier about one of the vouchers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just for the record, I believe we had a situation on one of the vouchers a couple months ago that I wanted to table, and then I guess it was tabled. I do not support it, for the record. So I forget which one. That was for the pawn shop.
Oh, no, she was right. Leads online.
Leads online. I do not support Leads online. The reason I don't support it, it's $2,000 a year to have that tool, and our neighbors to the west, Westchester has it. I've already spoken with the chief, and we could use it. We can't abuse it, but we could use it.
Oh, okay.
So as for right now, I will not support that, but thank you.
Okay.
I've got one request, Chief. I'd like you to speak to the change in our hiring policy or our hiring process for the officers from where we used to be to what we're doing today, and what the advantage was for and why we changed it with the commissioner still here.
Sure. We've had several meetings, we being the police department and the fire and police commissioners, to find out what would be the best way, A, cost effective, and B, expeditiously, to get boots on the ground, to get people, officers in Broadview. And so, even though we have an existing list, and the list expires in January, I found myself in a predicament where I was constantly going over on my overtime because of staffing levels. And we talked about what can we do now. They being the Fire and Police Commission, and I thought of, if we just identify individuals that are certified, so we're looking for just certified police officer. That means that we don't have to send them to the academy. That means we don't have to pay for the academy. That means we don't have to wait 3 or 4 months until they graduate. What we do now is they're certified. They go through several tests that the Fire and Police Commission puts them through. Then they get on the list, and then we hire them. Right off tomorrow, we have 2 individuals. One is an officer from Sauk Village, which has been out for 3 years. The other one is an officer from North Riverside. I think he was on like 5 years or 6 years. So these are experienced officers that are certified, coming out to Broadview. And again, it's cost effective, cost saving, and efficiently we'll get them on the road. So that was one of the things that we talked about for the upcoming tests in January, and hopefully we'll do it the same. We'll put it on Blue Line. That's our where we put our vacancies, and we're going to be specific in nature on what we're looking for, A, B, and C. So we've saved money, and we're getting these individuals boots on the ground right away.
We have some more potential retirees coming up.
We have now, I'll be having a meeting, the executive session today, talking about personnel matters. As I indicated, we have the deputy chief that has retired. So I'm going to be coming up with a plan and discussing with the executive board on what my plan is, and hopefully we'll be hiring some people in the near future.
Thank you, Chief. That's all I got. Madam Clerk?
Our next village officer, Matt Ames, MFA Construction, Public Works Department.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees, President. Yes. I've got actually a few items just to talk about. And I do have to apologize. This is something that has to be brought back up and it should have been put to rest. I believe several board meetings ago. And basically it is, from the photographs you guys can see, it's related to a PO, a purchase order that we submitted as it relates to the break room chairs. I don't know what kind of misinformation is going around, but let me give you the genesis. The chairs that public works employees utilize, especially in a winter month, when they're operating 24, 48 hours on the clock, are reclining chairs. And according to fire chief, we actually inherited them a little bit more than 20 years ago from the fire department. So, Jack, maybe that looks familiar to you. Okay. So, that being said, for the last 3 years, Joshua and I believe we've been making do with what we had. Obviously, we had some other high priority items that needed to have been purchased, retrofitting street sweepers, so forth and so on. This year, while we were composing the budget, sat down with our budget officer, Mr. Thomas Hood, and I asked him to make sure that we had money set aside for the purchasing of new break room chairs. Mr. Hood, to identify the budget line item and the amount.
Yes, the budget line item is 017340, which is building and maintenance. When we discussed it, we talked about redoing the entire break room. I actually wanted to cut that off out of the budget, and Matt pointed out the need to do this improvement to the building. And this is part of the $5,000 that's in that line.
Okay, so that being said, shopping around for these chairs, these break room chairs, we went to one of the local furniture companies. Ashley, obviously, we want to try and keep all of the tax dollars here in the village of Broadview as much as possible. And most certainly our purchasing power. They could not provide the chairs within the budget. So, shopping around, we went to Value City Furniture, which is in North Lake, I believe, on North Avenue. Spoke with the manager there, and they was happy to provide us 8 chairs at a cost of $200 a chair. So, in trying to secure the chairs immediately, simply because this is what they had in stock at the store, and the deal was to be done that day. Came back to the village and received a credit card from Ms. Donna Barber, our collector. If I'm not mistaken, our purchasing power as department heads is $2,500, correct? Correct? $2,500 without board approval. However, a PO was initiated at the time that the credit card was used. It's my understanding that the mayor has asked Ms. Barber, whenever the credit card is issued, that a PO is generated, that way we can track the purchase. The fact that the PO happened to show up as business card, I guess, aroused some individuals to think that we were spending $1,800 on business cards, which was absolutely not the case. So, we purchased the chairs, had them delivered, threw out the old chairs, and from the photographs, I think you guys can see the need for the replacements immediately, especially with our winter months at hand. So that is the genesis for the PO for the $1,800 for an item that was budgeted, that you guys approved in the budget. that we went out and we secured. Okay? And once again, I have to apologize because I believe that board meeting I did leave early. I didn't know that that PO was an agenda item. So had I known, I would have stuck around and explained it to you. So just something so you all to consider. I'd imagine as you want to pay the bill, because the longer it goes outstanding, it's not doing the village's credit any good. We got two items on the agenda tonight that I would like to touch on briefly. L and M. We've spoken with the trustees as related to those items being tabled at the previous board meeting. The village engineer and myself, we had to get confirmation about $533,000 of which was grant funds coming from IDOT, the STP program. This total project is two phases. We're going to do water main replacements up and down Roosevelt Road from 17th Avenue to 23rd. And when we go to restore the street, the second phase is the streetscape. We want to make it, more pedestrian friendly. We want to spruce it up. And the second phase, for those that may not be able to pull open the PDF designs online on our web, will closely mirror Roosevelt Road east of Harlem Avenue. So what we see, it's transformed Berwyn, Oak Park, and Cicero, east of Harlem Avenue, Roosevelt Road, is pretty much the same restoration that we're going to have in the second phase of the Roosevelt Road water main replacements. We did get confirmation that we have the full funding. As a matter of fact, this project was budgeted for last year. $2.1 million was budgeted and approved last year. Just recently, I believe, we went to bid and received the lowest responsible bid from Trine Construction for one, and who was the other one? Joe Narville, for the main replacements, 17th, 18th in the alley behind the Blue Note, adjacent to the municipal lot. So, that being said, I know there might be some individuals that don't know what's going on, so I thought I'd give you the genesis of that in a public forum. I know most of you had already contacted the village attorneys, myself, the village engineers, and trying to understand this, but for the public's benefit, that's exactly what's going on with items L and M. So, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Director Ames. Questions or comments from the board? Trustee Marino?
Yeah, going back to the business with the chairs, you said that we needed these chairs so that the public works employees have somewhere to sort of recharge when they're in a position where they have to work 24, 48-hour shifts. Did I understand that correctly?
That's correct.
How often do we run into situations where our public works employees are required to work a 24, 48-hour shift?
Well, let's see, in the last 3 years, quite often. We've had 2 floods, we've had 2 windstorms, and we've had a blizzard, which is recorded with historical measures. So that being said, I would say it's probably more frequently used during the winter months. However, we've had time to use them during the spring and summer months as well. And I would point this out as well, Trustee Marino. If in fact you visited Public Works and got to tour the facilities and talk to the individuals that work there, you would probably know this. But I'll answer you on a public forum.
And the other thing, as I recall from the purchase order, it also had an extended warranty for the chairs, and there was a question about why chairs would need an extended warranty. Do they have some sort of vibrating or massage option or something like that?
Absolutely not. Outside of the fact that you've got just mechanical levers that lifts up your legs, there's nothing mechanical or electronic about it. But I will say that for $125,
I was able to get a warranty for all of the chairs, 8 chairs, meaning that between a period of now and 3 years, if in fact a seam was to break loose or the handle was to mysteriously come off, guess what? They come out and they fix it or they replace the chair.
And that warranty is with, what was the name of the company? Value City Furniture?
It is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Marino. Trustee Morris?
But I wasn't gonna comment on the chairs, but I think I have to. You know, we turn this place into a circus sometimes. Audience saying stuff, with the trustees probably saying some of the wrong stuff. But I think just the way the chairs was brought to us, and then, we come back in here and then we say that it was a line item by Tom, almost looked like a gangster move to me. And, I know that these guys, they probably do need something to sit on, and I'm sure that Mr. Ames, he's not taking the chairs home, so I'm not tripping that he bought the chairs, but it's just the way that we did the whole thing. 1 week we say one thing, and then we come in here, we voted on the chairs and said, no, he wasn't here, he left. And then we come back and say, well, hey, we got the chairs, so what you gonna do? Somebody gotta pay for them. So I just think that we've been up in here long enough to know how this stuff works. And we keep on doing the same thing over and over. We try to hide one thing to show something else. The hand is quicker than the eye. So, I mean, like I said, I'm sure that these guys probably do work hard and need some, they ought to come to my break room where we work and we got chairs that's harder than this desk right here. But I mean, it's something. It is something. And like they say, now we got to pay for it because the village credit is at risk. We got to start asking for this stuff before we start buying. That's it for me.
Thank you, Trustee Moore. Trustee McGreal?
I wasn't going to comment either, but in rebuttal to what Trustee Moore said, now that's a fight, but I think I want to point out again that the department head spending cap is $2,500. That never should have come to us for a vote. And the fact that it did come to us for a vote was because it was put on the purchase order per the mayor's orders that all credit card transactions have to be tracked by paperwork. So when all of the circus is gone, the only thing that needs to be known is that the chairs were purchased under the correct procedures that we have put in place, and I, for one, did vote for him. I do support him again. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee McGregor. Trustee Hargreaves?
No comment.
Trustee Benson?
No comment.
Trustee Abraham?
No.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Director.
Our next item, number 6, communication, we have none. Item number 7, unfinished business, none.
Excuse me, let me stop you there, Madam Clerk. In new business, you've got an item here that actually is a resurfaced item from a previous agenda, which should have actually been placed under old business or unfinished business, and that's item A. So I'll entertain a motion to move item A from new business to old business and act on it accordingly.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly motioned by Trustee McGreer and properly seconded by Trustee Abraham to take item A from new business and place it into unfinished business and address it. Yeah.
Item L and M.
L and M?
And actually, it's just L.
Is it L?
It's L and M.
L and M.
M is not on the previous agenda.
Right, this is Roosevelt Road right here.
They were both on.
They're both on.
They were both on. It's L and M.
Hold on.
L and M.
She's looking at the
Let's
minutes.
just look at the minutes.
Yeah, they were combined because they were codependent upon each other. Yeah.
I remember. The other one, Mr. Mayor, would be H.
H.
H is new.
Because we just did the 2 police officers swearing in, so do you want to remove that or just leave it?
That actually can stay. CL now.
So the one that says lowest responsibility for work in regards to work, Roosevelt Road, 23rd Avenue to 18th Avenue was tabled on the before.
Right.
So is that M?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's item L and M.
So just item M?
Yeah, all I'm seeing here is M. M was tabled.
No, actually, M was not tabled. M failed for lack of a motion.
Well then these are all wrong, but I do remember tabling this. So this was tabled.
Actually, and this is one of the reasons that I didn't argue about tabling the October 1st minutes. No, actually, I made a motion to deny it, to refuse to deny authorization. There was no second, and then no one made a motion after that. So it failed for lack of motion.
Speak, Mr. Attorney.
Our board has adopted the Robert's Rules of Order, and pursuant to Robert's Rules of Order, an item that is a motion is not second dies, but it can be raised as new business at the next meeting, and I think that's why it's listed under new business right now.
But we tabled it.
And
if it was tabled, only tabled to the motion a second, then it's unfinished business. If it failed for lack of a second, then it can be properly brought under new business today.
That's understood, but we did table it. But however they want to do it is fine with me, but I do remember tabling it.
Cheers, is this from a copy of the minutes?
No, I just remember tabling it. Because McGreer made the motion.
Those minutes aren't even approved.
No.
We don't even know if the minutes are accurate anyway at this point. And they have not been approved.
Well, I'm not going off those minutes.
If it failed for lack of a motion, then it can be raised at the next board meeting as a new item.
So M is okay like it is, right?
Yeah. Okay, well, let's do
L,
it that
we'll
way.
move it to unfinished business. L.
We can leave it.
B as it is now is new business because it failed for lack of a motion.
All right.
so are we moving anything?
We're not gonna move anything. Madam Clerk?
Item number 7, unfinished business, we have none. Item number 8, new business. A, consideration of an ordinance repealing ordinance number CO-45-2012 for the village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been probably motioned by trustee McGreer, properly second by trustee Benson to repeal this ordinance. Mr. Attorney, you want to tell them what the ordinance is about?
Ordinance repealing prior ordinance number CO-45-2012, which authorized the village to publish notice for bond issue with regard to our capital improvement project.
Right. A little bit more edification, I'll just add to it. In previous board meeting, we had discussed capital improvements to the water mains and to the streets in certain areas within the town for a total up to about $12 or $13 million. It required a bond, or required us to actually publish for a bond. And because of that, we went through the process. At this point, we're going to repeal the ordinance, or we're going to consider to repeal the ordinance at this time, quite simply because a couple of different reasons. We believe that there's a possibility with a new Congress there may be some more federal money out there. We may not need to go this route, and there's some other considerations. So at this time, we're just going to stop, sit still, and just wait a minute and see if we can get additional federal funding with a new Congress coming up. So we'll see. Any other questions or comments regarding this from the board? Trustee Marino?
Yes, I have something else I was ready to ask, but first I'd like to ask what the other considerations are. You said there were...
Well, because there are considerations, but I'm not going to get into the details about it because there's nothing concrete at this time.
I noticed with the material that we received, along with the ordinance repealing Ordinance 45, 2012, there was an executed copy of Ordinance 45, 2012. And I noticed last night as I was comparing these, the executed ordinance reads differently than the ordinance that we were given as a board to vote on. Specifically on the first page, in the whereas section, it says that the village has deemed it advisable and necessary, etc.
Trustee Marino.
I'm curious as to how we end up with two different versions. You know, how has something changed like this?
The version that's executed and approved is the version that is a valid version. What is before the council right now is an ordinance seeking to repeal the executed version.
Well, there's a reason why I'm asking this, and that is that the executed version, first of all, the executed version is different than the version that we were given as board members to vote on.
It's the executed version that is before the board right now for repeal.
The change in this is that it did say the capital improvement project.
The change between a version that was being considered and the final version is irrelevant. What's before the board right now is whether or not to repeal the version that was executed and passed by the board.
But you see, that's what I'm saying. What was executed and what was passed read differently.
Well, that may be your opinion.
No, it's not my opinion. This is fact.
That may be your opinion, but right now, what is before the board is the version that was executed and approved.
Okay. I'll take this up in another way then. No other questions.
Trustee Morris?
No.
Trustee McGreer?
No.
Trustee Harvey?
No.
Trustee Benson?
No.
Trustee Abraham?
No.
Okay. My opinion is exactly that, my opinion. We've got an ordinance that's in place, version A, version B, either way. The idea to repeal the ordinance is to eradicate it in its entirety, whichever version, and semantics or vernacular, in my opinion, is not going to rule the day here. It's the consideration and the position of the board to repeal this ordinance for the sole purpose of not moving forward with it. Regardless of which version Trustee Marino or anyone else would be trying to say that they're different, is the idea of the ordinance in and of itself. With that, Madam Clerk, I'll entertain a roll call on this one.
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Benson?
Yes.
Trustee Hardwick?
Yes.
Trustee McGreer?
Yes.
Trustee Morris?
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino?
Yes.
Okay, and the motion carries to repeal the ordinance.
Item number 8B, consideration of a resolution authorizing initial action in inducting or redevelopment to Rose Point LLC for the village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Make a motion to approve.
A second.
Properly motion by Trustee Abraham and properly second by Trustee McGreer. In this particular ordinance, before we get into any further discussion, we're going to have a presentation about exactly what this one's about. We're going to introduce to some and present to others Mr. Joe Rayner, who is a business owner here in Broadview and the principal developer of the property. Mr. Rayner?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, trustees, ladies and gentlemen. As the mayor said, my name is Joe Rayner. I'm a developer. I've been in the village of Broadview since June of 1990. Bought a vacant building at 1821 Gardner Road. Totally vacant, 178,000 square feet. It was good old days when banks would open the doors for entrepreneurs. Unlike what's going on today. It took 4 years and $3.9 million to bring new companies, 16 of them, to Broadview, every one of them from different communities. In November of 1999, my partner and I bought another vacant building at 2000 South 25th Street. That building is 140,000 square feet. Took us 3 years to fill that building with all new companies, bringing new companies and new jobs to the building. On the 30th of September 2002, we bought the old General Motors building at 2600 South 25th Street, 389,000 square feet. That building is 95% occupied today with 28 companies, of which 25 were brought to the town as new companies, a lot of new jobs. About 2 years ago, for the benefit of those of you who were not at the last time we were here to make this presentation, the mayor approached me about trying to do something with the property between 13th and 14th. It has been vacant a long time, owned by the village. I tried to explain to him at the time that the doors of the banks were closed. Some of the very same banks that your government, our government, gave major monies to and bailed them out. And what did they do with that money? Big banks went out and scooped up the small banks that were having trouble. I don't even want to get into the politics. So we'll spend the rest of the night talking about it. But I can tell you right now, in 30 years of developing real estate, this project that's on that board is the most difficult, biggest struggle I've ever had anything to do with. It was easier to buy that General Motors building, which was 89,000 square feet, and fill it. Now people think that because you own a big building, we don't really own it. We own it with the bank. So we're not owners, we are owers. So I have a stake in this town, a major stake. My name, personal guarantee, is on a note at Bank of America, on the building we just talked about, for $9.2 million. If it goes down, I'm going to go down with it. What are we trying to do with Roosevelt? It's not just this project. We're trying to improve the whole street. To give you people and the business people in this town someplace to shop and to eat and keep the money in this community. What does it do for all of us? Most of you are property owners. And what it does is maintains the value of your property, increases the value of your property. I don't want this town, no offense to our friends in Maywood, but I don't want this town to go down the way Maywood has gone down. We want it to go up. I want my property values to get back where they were before this mess that this country got itself in. So let me tell you a little bit about this project. I was told by any number of real estate people, it will never fly. Well, don't tell me something can't happen. We're going to make it happen. We were determined to make it happen. I can't even begin to tell you. You have to understand so that you learn a little bit about what's involved as far as the future is concerned about that whole street, that whole area. If you got a problem with headaches, you go to a neurologist. You don't go to a back doctor. You don't go to a foot doctor. If you have a problem with your stomach, you don't go to a neurologist. You don't go to a foot doctor. Same thing happens in real estate. Everything today is broken down with specialists. So there are people that do nothing but involve themselves in industrial real estate. There are people that do nothing but involve themselves in selling homes. There are people that do nothing but involve themselves in retail. So in the 30 years I've been in this business, I started calling all of the people in retail that I know. And here's what I learned. Broadview, some of them said, where is Broadview? Some of them said, what are you doing? Why are you fooling with this little 9,900 square foot piece of real estate? And I said, real simple. I can see that whole street become what has happened in Elmhurst, LaGrange, White Just Lanes, Big Forest. No offense, but in all the so-called rich white places. Because that's where the big names have been going. Let me tell you about some of the people we talked to. Starbucks, Caribou Coffee, Baker Square, Panera, Hot Dog. Let us entertain you. I can sit and spend an hour just all the different types of restaurants they can. Egg Harbor, Chipotle, Wings, a real nice little barbecue place in LaGrange called Q Barbecue. I heard the same story. Who's there now? What big name is there now? You know what all those people are? They're followers. They're not starters. And I was told by my friends, go down to the second level. Start talking to other people. The mayor called me one day and said, there's some people at the Capri restaurant they want to talk to you. I got on the phone and called the guy. Jose, my partner and I got in the car and we drove to Burr Ridge. Went to one of their real fine restaurants. They also have a small place there called Capri Express, where you can go in and get Italian food to take out. We spent 3 hours with them. Made an agreement to meet them at 9 o'clock the following Tuesday morning. There's 4 brothers involved in all these restaurants. They got 3 different locations. They got a place in Berwick. Agreed to meet them at 9 o'clock at Mother's Day. Restaurant over in Sherman. Jose and I got there. I got to drive from the city. 9:30, 9:45, 10 o'clock, they don't show. He gets on the phone, he calls them, they don't even answer the phone. Frustrating? Yeah, but you know what? We didn't quit. One day the mayor calls me and says, I have a friend named Mike Sims. Here's his phone number, call him. Stay out, Mike Sims. I didn't know this man from Adam 3 months ago. When I called him, we talked on the phone. You can sit down, Mike. This is not a real high thing to you will be. Mike told me about a guy downtown that owns a restaurant called Athena. Very fine, great restaurant. And I went down there. My wife and I, my wife's a minority in this church. She's white and Greek, and half Italian. If she's with Greeks, she's great. If she's around Italians, she says she's Italian. But anyway, she and I went down there and we went to talk to these people. Initial conversation. She said to me, why should I go to Broadview? I said, I'll tell you why you should go to Broadview. There's no place to eat. Basically, there's a few restaurants, but we need more than 1 or 2 little restaurants. Most of the time, we go to Riverside, or we go to the Range, or we go to Oak Brook. So anytime anybody in this community, including all of the businesses, all the industrial buildings, There's 400 people in my building. And they leave Broadview and they go somewhere else to eat, those dollars aren't coming back. Those sales tax dollars are going somewhere else. It's ridiculous. The other day, Jose and I were walking out of Mother's Day. 3 guys were coming in, and there's a double door entry. So one guy's holding the door open for the 2 of us, and another guy's holding the other 2 doors open for us to walk through. I said to one guy, I said, no, you stand here long enough, we're going to get you a job here opening and closing the doors. And I noticed he had a badge. He had a badge. And there was a picture on it. I said, where are you guys from? They were from Lehigh. That's the press company by the Eisenhower. 800 people in that immediate area working. They got to drive from the Eisenhower all the way to Cermak, go under the bridge, and drive down to Mother's Day. And where do those sales tax dollars go, Mr. Mayor?
North Riverside.
Yeah. Okay. Back to the Athena restaurant, and thanks to Mike Sims, we got the first interest. Man's busy. He got in his car, and he drove by. And he brought his partner with him, a lawyer. The lawyer, former state's attorney for this area. The minute he opened his mouth and said, I know this area and I like this area, I got them in my pocket. They were done. He started talking about 4,500 square feet. He said, put the deal together. We'll do it. Started working on the deal. By the time I got back to him on the deal, he asked me a question. He said, what's going on at this end of the project? 9,900 square feet. I said, what's going on? There's going to be a drive-through here. He says, I want the back end of the space. So we went from 4,500 feet for a breakfast, lunch, nice place you will all be proud to eat in. My wife's going to be designing that restaurant. To another 3,500 feet at this end, which will be primarily takeout because it's needed in this town. I see all of the trucks all over the town delivering food. Why? Why shouldn't it stay here? Why should it have to come from all the surrounding communities? That's nonsense. So out of 9,900 feet, we got 8,000 feet leased. I got the letter of intent, and there has a copy of that letter of intent. Here's the bottom line. According to the TIF program, you have to have an outside firm, all because of the state rules, do an analysis of what kind of sales tax you're going to get and what kind of revenue you're going to get from the real estate taxes. It's not my rule. They're working on that. Very shortly, your legal department will have it, and we'll decide how we're going to proceed regarding the TIF on this property. That's pretty much the bottom line. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Questions go to the board.
Board? Ms. Marina, do you have any questions?
Yes, I have expressed before, well, first of all, let me tell you, I am thrilled with what you're bringing to us and the proposal. I'm thrilled with the idea of someone, especially someone with an interest in our village, getting involved in this type of development. My concern is in terms of TIF assistance because of the actions that the board took last year. In order to list the properties with the realtor, we declared them surplus real estate, that they're no longer needed for the purpose for which they were acquired. And specifically, according to those ordinances, it was They were required for the Roosevelt Road redevelopment plan and the TIF. Last year, and I talked about this when it happened, last year when I went to the Illinois Municipal League Conference, I was talking with a couple of attorneys that had given a presentation about something else. They asked me if we had TIF properties in Broadview that we were interested in developing. I said yes, started to tell them a little bit about it. I said you can go up to the MLS and see, get more details. And when I told them what we had done, that we listed with a broker, because there are, as you said, the TIF laws are very specific about various procedures. And there are processes that we should have gone through if we were selling these as part of the TIF. They said that they would tell their clients to run from a situation like this.
May I?
And Mike?
Yes,
go ahead.
I think this is a case in which a little bit of knowledge is dangerous.
Well, you should know.
And when you don't, when you have all of the knowledge, you would know. We obviously disagree with your analysis. This is completely incorrect and contrary to law.
Point of order. I have the floor.
Hold on.
Jackie, she was speaking to me.
Well,
Yes, and
I'm responding on behalf of the villages as the attorney for the village. So let me
Mr. Scarlotto, please stop interrupting me. I have the floor.
And I asked the mayor if I could respond to your question, all right? And the fact of the matter is we disagree with your analysis. Your analysis is incorrect. The property can be made surplus, and it will be transferred or sold to the developer in line with our redevelopment project for the area.
Can I say something? What are we trying to do? Are we trying to find a way to start redeveloping that street? Are we trying to throw cold water? Hold on, let me speak. I listened to you without interrupting, so let me finish. Because I'm not here to argue with you or anybody. I'm here to try to do something for this community. And if you want to pursue any way to try to stop me, you better go get the Philadelphia Army and the National Guard of Illinois, because I'm going to tell you something. Neither you nor any 2 or 3 lawyers is going to stop me.
That's what I'm talking about.
We're going to do this project because it needs to be done. And it's for the betterment of the village. And something that was done a year ago relative to putting that property up for sale, come on, Ms. Brown-Reno. Join the community. Help us get this thing done.
Mr. Reno, I'm very sincere. I would like to see this built. I would very much like to see this built. I also recognize that if you were in a position where you had to return the TIF assistance that you get, it could put in jeopardy not only this project, but your entire portfolio, and that would be detrimental to the village as well as to you individually.
And who
now,
let me ask you this.
And one other thing, it's not a matter of that I would decide to do this. This is that any of the taxing bodies could take the initiative to do this. And not only the taxing bodies that we're more familiar with, the Park District, the Library Board, what have you, the county itself could choose, the county, which is scrambling and looking for various different sources of revenue, could re-examine what's been done with TIF funds. I'm simply saying, I would be remiss not to bring this up. I hope that it's something that your attorneys have looked into. I'm thrilled with the project overall. I'm thrilled with the work that you're doing. I do believe there are other ways to provide incentive, inducement, and assistance. But I'm very nervous about the idea of approving something that involves TIF funds for this property under these conditions.
Let me tell you something, okay? This is a tax bill for my building. Cook County Assessor, Village of Broadview, all of you people are my partner. The taxes on my building are $582,817 damn dollars. And the county makes more money on that building than I do. Let me tell you where some of that money goes. You want to talk about the library? The public library in Broadview. Public library gets my money, $23,269. So when the public library wants to challenge this tip, if they do, I want to have a little talk with them. Because they're going to get a little Sicilian philosophy. Let's talk about the Park District. The Park District gets $21,340 of my money, just me. I don't even go to the park. I used to go to the park when I was like 18. Let's talk about just the village. The village gets, just the village, gets $157,158. Of which the pension fund gets $43,946. I didn't approve your pensions, Mr. Mayor. Let's talk about a few other things in Cook County. The Cook County schools, Triton College, Proviso High School, and School District 94. Are we School District 94?
We have a school district.
Well, let me just tell you how much they get. $328,060. I don't make $500,000 on that building. If I did, I wouldn't be building this stupid shopping center. So let's try to put this thing together. If you think there's other ways to induce me to do it, let's come up with them. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
No, I understand that.
Okay, if you understand that, then you better understand me.
I got other trustees up here. Hold on a minute. Just wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I know you very well. We talk all the time. I understand. I can relate. I really can relate. Okay? So you need to know that. Trustee Morris? No questions? Nothing? Trustee McGreer?
I just got a quick comment, Mr. Rayner. First of all, thank you for all of your efforts and hard work that you've done from the inception to the point where we've gotten to now. I'm not a big gambler. I have placed a wager or two in my lifetime. I certainly wouldn't gamble with village money, but if I were to bet any amount of money on a trustee that has very limited information and her beliefs versus a very successful businessman of several years and all that he's accomplished and what he has at stake, where other people may not have as much at stake, I think I would put my money on the obvious. And I thank you again for everything you're doing, and you have my full support on getting this project done.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor. Trustee Harvey?
No.
Trustee Benson?
Well, I just want to say that I am very excited about the project. I hope that it goes off with a hitch. If you need any assistance, as I offered before, me and my committee to help out with anything little, that we can do, we're more than happy to help out, and I hope it goes through. So keep it pushing.
Trustee Abraham?
Yes, I do have a comment. One, I want to thank Mr. Rayner for this nice presentation. Also, I met with you before. We discussed the vision of Broadview. And I think the most important thing, residents, we have a person here that obviously wants to reinvest in our community and wants to see it move forward. So his vision is pretty much in line with what we want to do, and that's to develop the economic corridor of Roosevelt Road. To sit there and say, and we'll keep it real on the first floor, but why do I have to go to Forest Park or Oak Brook or LaGrange Park to go have dinner or to go meet with friends when I can do it right here in my community? And as a lifelong resident, I support that. So again, I commend you on what you're doing. Wish you the best.
I have one thing, Mayor. Jose, you want to get this? Jose, just hold it.
Ain't neither one of y'all tall enough to reach out my height.
Yeah, I usually bring my wife, she's 5'10". Instead of bringing Junior. As soon as we acquire the property, my wife's already designed a sign, and the sign will have the illustration of the center that will say coming spring 2013 Broadview Plaza. We're also going to put a real nice sign up at our expense about this is where Broadview starts. So it'll be a real nice Broadview sign using your logo. And then it's going to say 2 new exciting restaurants. I'm sure you're going to love this. The goal of the developers for the shopping center is to work with local and/or minority subcontractors.
All right.
We're going to try to keep all the money in this town.
That's what I'm talking about. You know, I guess I'm the last one to talk on this one, but I can't say enough. I've talked to Joe at great lengths over the course of about 2.5 years. I talked to the guys with the Athena restaurant even before I talked to Joe, and they had come out here before, wanted to do it but didn't have a partner like Joe, and I'm glad that Mike was able to bridge the gap and get you guys together. But more importantly, I'd like to say this about everything that you guys have just heard. For someone, anyone, to want to get involved in something, for some of us it's of a great magnitude. For him it's a less of a magnitude, considering, you know, what his status is in life. But none of us have got any skin in the game. He will. So if he's got skin in the game, and he's the one that's actually going to be putting up money to do the project, it's in his benefit to make sure that this works right and it's successful. I don't think that he would get involved with a business such as this or production such as this if in fact he did not think it was going to be successful. And one of the current conversations that I've had with him is that if it's not right for all of us, it's not going to be right for anyone. His goal, and you tell me if I say something wrong, Joe, his goal in this whole thing was to make sure that it was a good fit for the village, that the village made out okay, and that it was okay for him, you know. So that being said, I think it's a great idea, Joe. I'm ecstatic that you came back today to give a presentation. I'm even more ecstatic, and I was, you know, almost jumping up and down when I saw the letters from Athena. Yeah. So, you know, you got 80% of the building leased. You know, 80% leased before putting the first, you know, shovel in the ground. That's phenomenal. And add to that, Joe and I actually went to the bank, sat in front of the Seaway Bank. We sat in front of the loans officer, the principal loans officer for the bank. And the only thing that they said was come back with the letter. They said if it was leased and they gonna give them, was it 1.9? Was it 1.9 for construction? 1.4 for construction. So we've already talked to the bank. The bank's in, and they're in town also. So it's everybody's involved, and everybody wants to see it happen. For those of us that have been in town for any length of time, know what an eyesore that vacant lot has been for years and years and years. It's about time we did something with it, and I want to thank you, Joe. And that's from the bottom of my heart. So, Madam Clerk, vote please.
Roll call.
Roll call, absolutely.
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Benson is absent. Trustee Hoglet?
Yes.
Trustee Maria?
Yes.
Trustee Morris is absent. Trustee Brown Marino?
Well, because this is about overall amusements, not just him, I will vote yes.
Thank you. The motion carries. Welcome, Joe. Thank you. And I'm sure we'll be back once you get all the financials from, what's the name of the guys are doing it? Kane McKenna. Okay. Madam Clerk, next agenda item.
Item number C, consideration of an ordinance authorizing the termination of an agreement between the Village of Broadview and Edwin Hancock Engineering Company for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Properly motion by Trustee Abraham, properly second by Trustee Hargrid to approve the termination of the agreement with Hancock. You want to talk about what the agreement originally was?
This is the agreement for the capital improvement program that was executed by the village earlier.
That we just voted to get?
You just repealed
Voted
that.
to repeal it,
So
okay.
This is just putting a stop on it. We had actually stopped looking at it while the issue was being resolved, so we had to work on it for at least a month.
All right. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that everyone was on board with that. So do I have any questions or comments from the board on the fact that we're just going to terminate the contract with Hancock Engineering?
Yes, when we approved this contract, we talked about how far you would get and what have you. Do you have any idea what we have incurred with you so far, what our bill is for this?
About 60% of the contract.
About 60% of the first year?
Of the contract, yeah, just the design portion.
Right, about 60% of the first year.
Yeah, I think that's about where it is. I haven't got the exact numbers, but it's around there. We've got total done, we designed a fair amount of the streets, the water mains.
I'm sorry, what?
So we've gathered a lot of the information, done the base drawings, designed some of the water mains, some of the streets. So we had stopped working on it, like I said, about a month ago when this whole issue started to come up. We just kind of pulled back a little bit, and it's all available and usable information until it gets picked up again.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Trustee McGreer?
None.
Trustee Hargreaves?
None.
Trustee Abraham?
Yes, can you please, the last comment you made about using this again?
I mean, the information and design that we have is still available in this project. If you're bringing these streets back up, or as the program gets going again and you want to do these streets, you won't have to redo the work. It's all to a point that's usable.
Okay, so the percentage that you guys done already still be readily available to us at any time?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Abraham. I just got one comment. I wanted to let you all know that sometimes when they actually have federal funds available, they look for shovel-ready projects. If you don't have shovel-ready projects, you can't even apply for the money, the grant money that the federal government gives out. Based on what Jim is telling me now, this would be a shovel-ready project that would put us in line to be able to access funds on the spot. As soon as they become available, if you got a shovel-ready project that would apply, they had I want to say about 13 million a few years back that was available, but we had no shovel-ready projects. We weren't even eligible to apply because the only people that they took were the people that were ready, that they could actually cut the check for them like right away, and they could just go on and start the project as opposed to going through a couple of months cycle of engineers trying to design and lay it out and put everything together. So we ended up losing out on that simply because we just didn't have shovel-ready projects. So on the flip side of that, this is a good thing, especially like I said earlier with the new Congress and potential federal funding coming up. Madam Clerk, I'll entertain a roll call, please.
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Benson is absent. Trustee Congress?
Yes.
Trustee McGrath?
Yes.
Trustee Moore is absent. Trustee Brown Marino?
Yes.
All right, the motion carries.
Item number D, 8D, consideration of an ordinance approving a sub-recipient agreement with regards to the 2012 Community Development Block Grant Program, project number 12-003, regarding the reconstruction of the 14th Avenue in Harvard Avenue for the village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Probably motion by Trustee McGreer, probably second by Trustee Abraham. Questions or comments from the board?
No.
Trustee McGreer?
None.
Harvard?
No.
Trustee Benson? It's about the CDBG with the redevelopment of 14.
All right, that's what I need to know. Which item we on?
D.
D?
D, David.
All right. It's my vote, so yes.
No, it was questions or comments.
I don't have any questions.
Trustee Abraham?
No.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. Motion carried.
Man, I had to move to the bathroom. Y'all taking too long.
Item number 8E, consideration of an ordinance approving an agreement by and between the village of Broadview and Miller, Canfield, Paddock, and Stone, PLC, for the provision of bond service for the village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Probably motion by Trustee Morris, probably second by Trustee Abraham to approve this agenda item. Questions or comments from the board, starting at my left? Trustee Marino?
No.
Trustee Morris?
No.
Trustee McGreer?
None.
Trustee Hargreaves?
No.
Trustee Benson?
No.
Trustee Abraham?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries unanimously. Madam Clerk?
Item number 8F, consideration of an ordinance approving agreement by and between the Village of Broadview and George K. Bond and Company with regards to the underwriting service for the annual rollover bonds for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Properly motion by Trustee Morris and probably second by Trustee Benson. Comments and questions from the board, starting with Trustee Marino.
Well, I was hoping that we would be able to get out from under the rollover bonds, but the other concern I have, I just want to point out, last meeting we had an out-of-court agreement that we approved with J.P. Morgan Chase, but the reason for that agreement was because J.P. Morgan Chase and George K. Baum, according to the allegations in that case, had conspired to defraud us of interest revenue in, what's that term? Basically in the money that was invested short-term before it was dispersed to us. So I was hoping that we would find another underwriter to work with. I'm glad we're not using the other guys, but at this late stage, I guess there's not much we can do. We have to get the rollover bonds sold by December 1st. But I think we could do better than these underwriters that we've got.
Point taken. Point taken. Okay. Trustee Morris?
No.
Trustee McGreer?
No.
Trustee Hargreaves?
No.
Trustee Benson?
No.
Trustee Abraham?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I'm sure the ayes have it unanimously. Madam Clerk?
Thank you. Item number 8G, consideration of a motion approving an inter-fund transfer from the General Fund 01 to the IMRF Fund 07 for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Yeah.
This motion is more of a formality to memorialize what's being done. This was already approved by the board in the budget ordinance. So this is just to memorialize this is being done at this time.
Right, this is just the paper trail.
Exactly.
Okay. Does everybody understand? Okay, motion to approve by who?
Mr. Trustee Morris.
Morris, a motion, and second by Abraham. Do I have questions or comments from the board? Trustee Marino?
No.
Trustee Morris? McGreer?
None.
Hargreaves?
No.
Benson?
None.
Abraham?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. That motion carries unanimously.
Item number 8H, consideration of the motion for approval for the 2 police officers for the Village of Broadview Police Department, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Probably motion by Trustee Hargreaves, probably second by Trustee Benson to approve this agenda item. Questions or comments from the board? Trustee Marino?
If I understand it, these are the 2 officers that were sworn in earlier this evening?
Yeah.
Not 2 new ones on top of that?
No, not 2 new ones. Just the 2 we saw. Trustee Moore?
Is there any particular reason that we didn't do like we did in the last meeting?
We should have done it first, absolutely correct.
That's all.
Trustee Morris? Trustee McGreer?
None.
Trustee Hargreaves?
No questions.
Trustee Benson?
None.
Trustee Abraham?
No.
Okay. And the only comment that I would have is I just think that this was an oversight in the layout of the agenda today. But they had the consensus that we were going to be able to hire them anyway, so that's why they got sworn in first. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that agenda item passes unanimously.
Item number 8I, consideration of a motion for approval of an application for a revolving improvement grant for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Properly motion by Trustee Abraham, properly second by Trustee Benson. Questions or comments from the board? Trustee Marino.
No.
Trustee Morris. Trustee McGreer.
None.
Trustee Hargreaves.
No.
Trustee Benson.
None.
Trustee Abraham.
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries unanimously.
Item number J, Consideration of an application for business license for common little cleaning service.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Properly motion by trustee Benson, properly second by trustee Abraham for Carmela's Cleaning Service. Trustee Benson, you want to report on this one?
Sure. Carmela's Cleaning Service will be located at 2044 South 13th Avenue, Broadview, and it's an in-home cleaning service, so they did not have much of an inspection, but we did do an inspection of their homes, and they will be cleaning people's homes. We actually have more than one cleaning service in their homes here in Broadview. Is the owner here by chance? Address again was 2044 South 13th Avenue. That's where they're doing business. I don't see them here. That's all I have to say.
I don't see them either. Okay, Mr. Commissioner, you got anything to add to that?
Not really. We have 4 basic cleaning services currently in the village of Broadview. The cleaning service, as I said, is located at 2044 South 13th Avenue, and an inspection was done of their home. Actually, they have a office or an area dedicated to them to take care of the administrative paperwork. Pretty much the work is going to be done outside the house, residential, industrial, commercial.
License, insured, bonded? All the license, insured, bonded, all of that? Okay. Questions or comments from the board again? Anybody?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hold on. Y'all ain't in order. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries unanimously, and welcome to Carmela's Cleaning Services. What's that got?
Item number K, consideration of an application for a business license for J.P. Larson.
Make a motion to table this business until the next board meeting.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion to table by trustee Benson and second by trustee Abraham to table this particular one. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, this will be tabled to the next board meeting. Madam Clerk?
Item number L, consideration of an ordinance authorizing expenditures of funds for the Roosevelt Road water main replacement and accepting the lowest responsible bid for the work in regards to the work at Roosevelt Road, alley north of Roosevelt Road between 18th Avenue and 17th Avenue, for the village of Broadview, County of the State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Probably motion by trustee McGreer and properly second by trustee Abraham to approve this agenda item. Who's got a report on it?
I don't.
You don't?
You have everything?
You've already spoke about it. Matt spoke about it. Okay. Questions or comments, trustee Brown Marino?
Well, the first thing that I thought as I saw this, as I've said before, is I don't think it's appropriate for us to be using TIF money for this. This is a water project. I've talked about that before, but as I looked at the bid, I was first struck by how much lower they came in than the engineer's estimate. And I started looking at some of the line items and realized we had some items that they projected that sounded really odd, in terms of what they felt they'd be paying versus what the engineer projected. And I wanted to learn a little more about the company, because this is Trine Construction, because I wanted to see if this was a, no, for this one it's Trine.
This one's J.R. Dooley.
J.R. Dooley.
That's correct.
So this is the one for the,
This is now.
It's the alley.
for the alley. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll wait until the next item.
Okay. Trustee Morris? Trustee McGreer?
No.
Trustee Hargett?
No.
Trustee Benson?
No.
Trustee Abraham?
No.
May I have a roll call, please, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Benson?
Yes.
Trustee Hargett?
Yes.
Trustee McGreer?
Yes.
Trustee Morris? Trustee Brown Marino?
Yes.
Okay, and that motion carries unanimously. Madam Clerk?
Item number M, consideration of an ordinance authorizing expenditures of funds from the Roosevelt Road water main replacement and accepting the lowest responsible bid for work in regards to the work at Roosevelt Road, 23rd Avenue to 18th Avenue for the Village of Broadview, County of the State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Probably motion by McGreer, probably second by trustee Abraham. I'm guessing that this is the one that she's talking about now.
Correct.
Okay. Your comment now, Ms. Brown Marino?
So, as I wanted to get a feel for whether or not there had been problems with this company, that may have resulted from not using standard equipment or something like materials in it. And actually, there have been a lot of problems with trying construction. Specifically, in March 2011, there was a water main project in Park Forest, a southern suburb. And Trine Construction broke through the gas line, resulting in an explosion of the townhome condominiums right there, where they were doing the work. There were people very severely burned and injured and what have you from that, as well as subsequent lawsuits that included the community. There were other communities, including, I want to say Northbrook, I think it was, where I found where Trine Construction had been the lowest bidder, but were found not to be the lowest responsible bidder. I had an opportunity to speak with the Public Works Director from Northbrook because they are one of the communities that do very detailed minutes of their meetings and detailed reports. And he had some very specific complaints about Trine. They had worked with them in 2010, and it included things like having broken through, not a gas line like this, but broken other equipment as they were doing the work, as well as not maintaining their bond and their insurance and other types of violations, unnecessary, what he felt was unnecessary service interruptions and whatnot. But then the other thing that I found as I was doing research on this company is that just this past August, there was a civil RICO charges filed against them for not paying the subcontractors affiliated with their jobs, including the one in Northbrook. And I spoke with a couple of the towns that were involved in that. I would challenge the idea that these are the lowest responsible bidders. They certainly aren't the lowest bidder, but I would challenge the idea of them being the lowest responsible bidder, and I'm not so sure that it's a company that, given their recent track record, that this is somebody that we should feel comfortable working with. So I'm not sure, when you say lowest responsible bidder, I'm not sure what kind of research you do, because this is all stuff that I found fairly easily on the internet.
Can you respond?
First of all, our firm has worked with them recently in the village of Oak Lawn, and we did not have any problems or any troubles with that project with them. There were no issues with setup, there were no issues with them breaking through or doing anything with us. They also did the work down in Berlin, similar work on Roosevelt Road, did the water main project there, and that project did not have any issues or trouble. I also checked a couple other references up there and did not hear anything back from the references that I had checked. Every contractor, their contractor have issues as far as the fact that they didn't pay their subs. We will not pay them unless they have waivers from their subs. So their invoices won't get paid until they produce waivers current with the job. If that work is included in the estimate, they don't get paid for it unless they have waivers from their subcontractors. We do track their insurance and bonds. We check, we know when their certificate of insurance expires, and we do monitor those ahead of time to make sure that they stay current with their certificate of insurance. This project, it's on Roosevelt Road, it's busy. It's a fairly clean corridor where the water main is going as far as any other utilities or anything with. We feel that they should be able to do the job, and we'll be out there to make sure that they are following specs and doing the work as specified.
Let me just say this, so that if we do end up working with them, you're aware of this. In terms of the waivers, that's what made this a RICO charge as opposed to just suing, vendors suing to get paid. That and there are copies of this attached to the complaint and available on the court records. But Trine had prepared and forged certificates of
Waivers.
the waivers, and presented them to the municipalities. And that's also the reason that the municipalities aren't being named in these. There's some municipalities that didn't get the waivers, and apparently they may be named as additional defendants.
Is it a pending suit or
Yes.
has it been resolved?
No, it's a pending suit. This was just filed in August.
So there hasn't been a determination on the charges?
No.
And can I ask just one question?
Sure.
Mr. Coons, they're gonna have to obtain performance bonds?
Performance and payment bonds, yes.
And the performance and payment bonds are guaranteed that any work that's not completed will be awarded?
100% of the contract.
Would you repeat that for everyone to hear?
The performance and payment, they have a performance and payment bond. Performance is so that they complete the work. If they decide if they pull out of the work before it's done, for whatever reason, their bonding company has to come in and do it for the prices and the contract that the village has executed with them. Payment bond covers issues with subs and the payment of materials or other things of that nature. If they don't pay them, they come in to resolve the issue with the subs and suppliers.
Go ahead.
Duly noted on their waivers, and we will all to make sure that they actually did sign them.
I mean, I realize anyone can, you know, we're human, and there can be a mistake made. If the only thing I found was the breaking through the gas line in Park Forest? Yeah, Park Forest. If that was the only thing I found, this wouldn't be as alarming. But that and Northbrook was just one of the towns that, you know, specifically said they're the lowest, but they're not responsible. So I think, once again, I think we could do better. Let's put it that way. You know,
Okay, thank you, Trustee Marine. Trustee Moore? Trustee McGreer?
None.
Trustee Harger has stepped out. Trustee Benson?
None.
Trustee Abraham?
None.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Benson?
Yes.
Trustee Harkin is absent. Trustee McGreer?
Yes.
Trustee Morris?
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino?
no.
Okay, and that motion carries 4-1.
Item number 9, application for the authority to spend funds, $3,972.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly motioned by Trustee McGreer, properly second by Trustee Abraham on this application to expend funds. Who's got the report? Which one you got?
This is for Pitney Bowes, in the amount of $2,952. This is the annual 12-month expense for the lease for our for our postage meter. It's $246 a month, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. Questions or comments from the board? Trustee Marino?
No.
Trustee Morris?
No.
Trustee McGreer?
None.
Harvard's missing. Benson?
None.
Trustee Abraham?
None.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call on the first agenda item?
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Benson?
Yes.
Trustee Harkin is absent. Trustee McGreer?
Yes.
Trustee Morris?
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino?
Yes.
All right, the postage meter will be paid for. How wonderful.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, the second item is in the amount of $1,020 for Mid-American Water. It's for the purchase of a Schonstedt locator used for jewelry locates. And this is through the Public Works Department.
Okay, Public Works. You want to talk about what that is, Jim?
I can tell you real quick. I mean, basically, in case you don't know what a Julie locator is, Julie's a company, the Joint Utility Locating Information Excavators. And when you have work to be done in your water, gas, etc., there's certain instrumentation that companies and departments utilize to locate where the device is without breaking gas lines, etc. Thank you.
Sufficient.
They send the signal through the facility and then you check.
Right, sufficient enough to explain to everyone. Questions or comments? Trustee Marino?
None.
Trustee Morris? No. Greer?
None.
Benson?
None.
And Trustee Abraham?
None.
Okay, Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Benson?
Yes.
Trustee Harkin is absent. Trustee McGreer?
Yes.
Trustee Morris? Trustee Brown Marino?
Yes.
All right, and that motion carries unanimously.
Item number 10, committee report. Building and public property, trustee Abraham.
Good evening, residents. I have two items. One, I wanted to give you an update on our public property. About a month ago, I met with Chief Tigera, and what we did is we reviewed some of the vehicles that he had. And what they did, there was an inter-department transfer of these vehicles. 2 cars were transferred over to our building department, 1 car to the mayor's office, 1 pickup was to Public Works Department, and then 3 vehicles will be used as a trade-in. That was the public property report. On another note, this is, we just had a meeting about a week ago. This is going to be a community effort between our Park District, our Police Department, our Fire Department, our library, as well as the Village Hall here. What we're going to be doing this year again, they did it last year, and the Chief and the Mayor will obviously they can expand on it. It's called Operation Santa Claus. What we do is we contact the 3 area grade schools, Roosevelt, Lindop, and Kamara. Last year they had 2 families from each school, and what they did is they collected funds, and they were able to provide a very nice Christmas, and they were delivered by the Fire Department, Police, and the Mayor, and the Park District, Katrina Thompson. And what they did is provided a very nice Christmas gifts to these families that are in need. So again, this time we're going to expand it a little bit more. We're asking the community for support. As residents, we're going to have some community boxes here at the Police Department, Park District, and Village Hall, where you can donate $1. I mean, it's not much, but it'll make somebody's Christmas. We're going to ask the businesses for some donations. We'll also be sending out a mailer to all our residents so that you'll be aware of it and what we're going to do. Again, it's something nice that each committee or group here has come together to provide for, you're looking at about 6 students from these grade schools, their families. They have a nice Christmas. And again, Chief, you were here last year. Mayor, if you want to add anything to it.
I will when I talk about it, okay.
All right, and that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Trustee Abraham. Madam Clerk.
Our next committee report is Business Committee, trustee Benson.
Evening, everyone. The Resident Economic Development Committee meeting, I had to cancel that recently, but I did just receive everything else needed for that committee. So now I will push all that information for your board to get done, and I will reschedule that meeting, and you will be notified, and it will be made public as well. That completes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Benson.
Our next committee report, Fire, Police, and Civil Service, trustee Margaret is absent. Our next committee report is Street, Sidewalks, and Alley, trustee McGreer.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Mayor, Board of Trustees, residents. Real quick, a couple of things. Just wanted to remind everyone that the Neighborhood Watch meeting is held here at Village Hall every last Friday of the month. Correct me if I'm wrong, BJ, is it 6:30 p.m.? I believe it's 6:30 p.m. unless they change the time.
7.
Is it 7 now?
7.
Thank you, Trustee Abraham. 7 o'clock p.m. right here at Village Hall. Secondly, the CDBG street resurfacing for the 14th Avenue Roosevelt to Fillmore project has begun and should be completed before the end of the month. Over in the Gold Coast area, there was a lot of restoration being done by NICOR. I know we're sick and tired of that. However, NICOR restoration of the streets, sidewalks, and the parkway should be completed before the end of this month, finally. Leaf bags are being distributed at Public Works between the hours of 8 and 4 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Public Works is also open up on Saturdays between the hours of 8 a.m. and noon for those that can't make it during the weekday. In fact, the mayor was down there this past Saturday. I was down there for an hour or so, and we're going to continue until the leaf bags run out. That concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee McGreer.
Our next committee report is Finance Committee, trustee Morris.
Good evening, all. I don't really have a report written out or anything, but you know, being a finance chair, this is like something that I never could imagine that would turn out the way it is, because you know, we always get the service before we pay for it. That's everything we do. You know, every now and then they ask for something, but 9 times out of 10 we have something on a piece of paper, it's already been did. So it's like, why have a finance chair if you can't impose no type of sanctions on anything. That's just like with these chairs. Are you kidding me? We said no. They still got the chairs and we still got to pay for them. How about that? What kind of sense do that make? How you know that I don't get it. You know, and I really, you know, when the mayor said, you know, I want you to be the finance chair, and I talked to John Ely, I understand him now, why he was nuts. Because you can never get anything straight. Whatever they want, they gonna get it unless we implement some type of ordinances on these department heads.
Mr. President.
Okay, so you ain't got to say it. I'm just gonna,
Go ahead,
I'm gonna lay down and die, because that's what happens. When you start speaking out, put a dart in you, it's over. This ridiculous, though.
Look at what says, we've addressed your concern.
Right, that's it.
In the ordinance, the purchasing ordinance that we passed, I think, 2 or 3 meetings back, where anything above 2,500 has to come to the board, and anything below 2,500 is a statutory number that the department heads can make. So we have codified it for you.
That's what happened to the young lady that was working for Todd Stroger. She was right above, below that number. Until he called. That's it for me.
You can't make any more comments.
Madam Clerk.
Our next particular board is the Water Drainage and Health, Trustee Brown.
I thank you for your comments. I mean, there may be other people here who wish you wouldn't have made them, but I thank you for your comments, Trustee Morris. I can imagine your frustration, but until the board, as a board, decides that they care, that's what we're stuck with. It's frustrating, going back to water drainage and health, it's frustrating the idea that we, you know, we can do better. We can do better than the people that we're working with. We can do better than the contracts that we're approving. We can do better in terms of how we manage our money.
Are you talking about in the context of your department,
right?
Drainage and health?
I'm saying that with those that affect water, drainage, and health, we could do better. But even beyond that, we could do better as a board. So, and with that will wrap up my report.
Thank you, Trustee Marino. Madam Clerk.
No report.
Okay, I've got a few comments, and then I see that Pastor Mike Ennis walked in, and I know he wanted to address the board tonight. He contacted me, so let me say, first of all, to the fire department, I attended the open house for the fire department. It was a smashing success, and you guys put on a wonderful exhibition with the rescues and the rescue dog and putting out the fires, and I think the kids loved it. Hopefully you guys will do that again. It was a fantastic, phenomenal type of event. Chat with the chiefs. I got a lot of good comments about that too when the chiefs actually had these chats, fireside chats with the chiefs. Great idea, and I appreciate everything you guys do. And it's with mixed emotions that Mr. Kosick is retiring. I know he really enjoyed his stay here. He enjoyed his tenure as the deputy chief, but it was time. He's got a great offer to go somewhere else, and we'll miss him. He's been a great asset to the force for many years. So good luck to Jim in his future endeavors and his future life. One thing I want to commend our police and fire commissioners on, and the police department, was their open-mindedness when they embraced the change in our hiring policies. I do know that we have at least one commissioner that's kind of stubborn, you know, in their lines of thinking, and for us to convince that particular member that this would probably be a good thing so that we don't have to have a huge window before a new hire can get on the road and actually be effectively as a police officer, I think is a great thing for the village of Broadview. And I think the difference in time is about 6 months. Is that about the right amount of time? The difference?
Between, it's 3 to 4 months.
The difference in time, about 3 or 4 months? So, because they don't require all the road training and all the other stuff, and that's a beautiful thing. As it relates to the Santa Claus program that we do with the toys for the kids, you know, I'll tell you, until you've actually gone into some of these people's houses and see some of the things that you see, you never really know. And we actually get the names of the children from the different schools. Well, we talk to the principals and the staff, and they come back with the names. The police do a little background on them and do an investigation to make sure that these people are in fact needy. We went to one house, and I'm going to share a couple of these experiences so that you can understand what's going on right here within the borders of Broadview that, quite frankly, I wouldn't have believed if somebody told me. We had a couple with 4 kids, and they were in a 1-bedroom apartment. They had bunk beds set up in the kitchen for the two older kids, and they had bunk beds set up in the front room and a table in the house, and she was pregnant with the 5th kid. And he's not working, you know. We had another household where it was a single parent with 4 kids, and they were running around barefoot, and there was almost no furniture in the house. And you know, you just, you know, you feel for the people, and you can only reach out so far. And just to know that we have it within our borders is troublesome for me. So just want you guys to know, if you have an opportunity to give, whether it's money, time, or anything else, do what you can for these individuals. I certainly will, and I know that the police and fire department are actively and gainfully on board with this, as well as the Park District. It's a beautiful partnership. The kids love it when we go out there with the gifts and everything. You know, we come out with the fire engines and the police cars and everything, and there's about 10 or 15 people that are coming up to them, bringing them this stuff. So it's a great thing. As it relates to the board and some of the spending issues that were discussed here in the open session, and it's unfortunate, but it is a process that we go through. The department heads have a spending limit, and my imposing of paperwork on use of the credit card. See, I've got an issue with credit cards and not having paperwork. It's budgeted, the department head spends the money on something that was budgeted for. They knew what they were doing, but they didn't share the information with the board prior to the purchase, and they just went out and purchased it thinking it was the right thing to do in this one case. And there were other cases. Was it right, wrong, or indifferent? Who knows? I think it's just a mere communication issue. I think it's a lack of communication. I think that it just should be communicated prior to, and I do believe that particular department head has been reprimanded and discussed with about his actions. At this point in time, it's up to the board what they're going to do about it. I'm certain that we're going to end up paying for it. Where the money comes from will be up to the discretion of the board. So, and we'll talk about that offline. One question was asked earlier, and she left. She asked about the cul-de-sacs in the 80 acres area. Those of you that are not aware of where 80 acres is, 80 acres is the area of town that is north of Roosevelt Road between 13th and 17th. It borders Maywood on both sides. To the east and to the west is Maywood, and also further to the north on the other side of the expressway is Maywood. Fortunately, we haven't had any major issues over there, but it's a transient area. There's a lot of multi-unit families over there, multi-unit buildings, I'm sorry, and the liquor stores over there. You know, one of the troublesome liquor stores is in the area. Well, there's one that's more troublesome than the others. And because of that, we get a lot of traffic through the area. And so the idea is to cul-de-sac it off to minimize the additional traffic. Plus, there's a grammar school in the area, and it's a safety issue for the kids to have all that excess traffic. I've talked to the attorney about putting this particular agenda item on the agenda for approval coming up in the next couple of board meetings. It's been a very difficult process for them because it's very intricate in what they're trying to do to accomplish getting this. It includes the erecting of a sign and the implementation of the cul-de-sacs. So that will be coming in the near future. It'll be in front of the board within the next 30 days, I'm hoping, and we'll move forward at that time. At this point, I'm going to yield my time, the balance of my time, to Pastor Mike Ennis, who is a pastor of the local church over on 18th. You stand up, Pastor Mike. He's a pastor of the local church in the 2200 block of 18th in Broadview. Pastor Mike Ennis, welcome.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Mayor and Board of Trustees, I would like to just thank you for the opportunity to speak to you, and I'll be fast because it's past my bedtime right now. We as a church, when we first moved here 2 years ago, decided that our main focus is going to be reaching out into the community, much like the Mayor just shared with us that the village is about anyway. And we decided to hold 2 events a year where we give out over $1,000 worth of, whether it's gift cards or prizes or things to help our community. We've done that the last 2 years with a basketball tournament and a fall fest. We've had our fall fest 2 years now. The mayor and Trustee McGreer have been to that and seen that.
So have I.
She was there. She was there.
I got stuff.
Yes, that's right. You want some stuff. Absolutely. So we understand that, our church, being small, wants to reach out to our community. And so we put aside financial in our own budget to support paying someone's utility bills as some of the grand prizes for our events. We also understand that as we want to give to our community, we have to partner with local vendors. And so Starbucks has been great to us. They've given us over $100 worth of stuff this year. Dunkin' Donuts has been great. We just partner with people so that we can give prizes out above what our church can do. This year we wanted to push a little farther and ask the village to come on board with us. Now we understand the separation of church and state, so we're not asking you to donate anything towards us. We would like the village to come with our church, maybe have representatives show up to our event, and for our grand prize giveaways, we'd like to pay someone's power bill off this year, as well as 2 other recipients' water bills as kind of runner-up prizes. And we'd like to ask the village to even come above and beyond that, and to show up and say, hey, to the next 3 winners, or 1 or 2 if you decide to do that, we'd like, as a village, to support you as well and pay your current month's water bill. We have some leverage there with the water department. And we'd like to ask that you consider doing that for our village, through our church, but just kind of alongside our church. So that is what we're about. That's what we want to do to continue to support and kind of lift up our community by giving back in any way we can. We'd like to partner with you to continue what we can do at this time. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Pastor Mike. All right. With that being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session. We do have an executive session tonight. I see the attorneys come in the back. Hopefully it'll be brief.
Make a motion to adjourn to executive session.
All right, probably motion by McGreer, probably second by Trustee Abraham. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right, we're going to be in executive session for a little while. We'll be back.